So I also have on the far right column, we have some due dates, recommended due dates, right? Our recommended due dates are due on the Friday of that week, right? So I see that some of you all have turned them in. If you all have problems, please feel free to reach out to me. Just send me an email, say, hey, Dr. Young, we've been trying to contact this pharmacist, but she's been super busy. What should I do? And I'll probably respond, say something like, no worries. Please get that information and then hand it in. That should sound familiar to somebody. Okay? Are we good? Okay. With that one, let's see. So since we are dealing with stakeholder survey responses, I wanted to just give you all an overview, and this is just reminding you of something you all probably, well not probably, but something you all learned back when you were in Dr. Perry's communication course, and that's talking about particular types of questions, and this is tips for question asking, right?
Dr. Young?
So hello? Yes?
Just for clarification, would you consider this week week 3 or is last week week 3?
Last week was week 3.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So again, we're trying to plan, right? And we are trying to collect some information from our folks. So what we want to do when we're thinking about these stakeholder surveys, we want to think about who are our key stakeholders. They could include pharmacy staff, managers, even pharmacy owners, patient caregivers, and others who we think might be relevant to our pharmacy setting. We also want to make sure that we're asking purposeful questions. So issues in practice, what are some of the problems that we're seeing, keep patient populations, but we might also want to ask questions about the capacity. So what are the internal infrastructure that is there that would help us implement the projects that we're doing? As I mentioned before, there's some key questions, some things that we want to avoid when we're asking questions, and I frame them in terms of your patient-provider communication, just to make it a little bit relevant for you, right? So don't ask double or multiple questions, 2 questions in one. We won't necessarily know, your respondent won't necessarily know which one to respond to. Loaded questions, try to avoid things that make or imply judgment or expectations. These slides are also up on it's in template 3 section on ELC, right? Also, leading questions, you don't want to steer someone down a path of a particular question, and don't ask double negative questions, okay? So again, types of questions we want to avoid: double or multiple questions, loaded questions, leading questions, and double negative questions. Also, somebody tell me the difference between an open and closed question. What's an open question? Yes?
Open question has more than one possible answer.
Right, and closed questions are yes, no. So we definitely want to ask open-ended questions early, right? So after you ask those open-ended questions, then you might want to target and get some clarification, and that's where you can go ahead and ask your no questions. But when I look at your question list, I want to see nice open-ended questions. And I don't want to see double or multiple questions, loaded questions, leading questions, or double negative questions. Also, be careful when you ask the why questions. It's your tone. Be nice. So why did you do this, right? So I always have to, when I'm asking my kids questions, such as why didn't you do your homework? I can't give that, why didn't you give your homework? Because then they snap back at me. So my oldest is a teenager now, and I'm learning that dads have to behave responsibly in certain kind of ways, or we get the wrath of the teenage daughter. So I'm trying to avoid the wrath. So I'll give you another clue. So me, I'm trying to be hip and with the times, and I said, oh, sweetie, she's doing her hair in the morning. Oh, sweetie, your hair's on fleek. And she looked at me and she said, Dad, never, ever say the word fleek again. So I said, okay, that's out of my vocabulary. Here I'm trying to be hip and with the times. So, but anyway, I digress. Don't ask, be careful when you're asking those why questions, okay? And with that, I am going to turn you loose. introduce. I'm gonna walk around, talk to a few groups, hopefully I'll talk to a couple of groups. I'm looking at my calendar, I'm trying to get down to Augusta and Savannah soon. I've already visited Albany, but I'm coming back to Albany too, so I will be with you all. If you all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please, chime in, hit the microphone, let me know. All right? Questions, what questions do you have for me? I wanted to wrap this up so you all can actually get in your groups and do work. Are you all okay? All right, go ahead and start your group work. I got questions for you. This is not for the general class. I'm just calling somebody out. Felix. Is Felix there? In Albany?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Felix, what's going on with your group?
Sounds so sad.
Nothing much. We're here working on it. Making good progress.
Okay, and I asked because I didn't see template 1 on the ELC. Your group 22, right?
Oh, we just turned that in.
Oh, you did? Okay, wonderful, thank you. And I apologize for calling group 22 out.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Oh, we have to reword the one, okay.
Are we working on stuff now?